Podcast. I'm Cameron Christensen, along with the co-host Anthony Faso. We just wrapped up our interview with Shawn and Joni Wolfswinkel with Texas Turnkey Properties. Anthony, what kind of takeaways did you have today?
Well, I tell you, I actually enjoyed it. They were a good interview. I think we had a good conversation and some great information. And what I would say in regards to real estate, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get involved. Mm-hmm. And I think probably one of the best ways, if you're doing single family, would be what's called the BRRRR strategy, where you buy it, you rehab it, rent it out, refinance, then repeat.
Rinse and repeat?
Yes. Rinse and repeat. I knew you were going to say that one. But first of all, I'd say we don't live in an ideal world. And like, I know for me, I don't have the time to do the BRRRR strategy. Mm-hmm. I wish I did. Maybe at some point I will, but right now I'm focused on growing some other businesses. So since I can't do that, I need to work with somebody. I need to partner with somebody who is an expert in the field, who can find that property and that they can manage it and they can help in the process, which is great. That's where a turnkey provider comes into play, where it's kind of just like it says turnkey. You know, they manage the tenant, they find it, they do the repairs, and they manage it, collect the rent. So they deal with the tenants, toilets, and what's the other? Termites. Okay. All right. Thanks. I knew that there were 3 T's, but so I think using a turnkey provider can be a great way for you to get into real estate. What takeaways did you have, Cam?
Man, I love hearing people's stories, and I really, really enjoyed their story.
Yeah.
High school sweethearts, they'd been together forever, but then also on the business side, they've been doing this for a really long time, right? Almost 20 plus years, I think. But the part that stood out to me was kind of, to dovetail off of what you said, is our hierarchy of wealth talks about when you're going to learn something new is to go find a mentor. Go find somebody that's already been doing what you want to do and spend as much time as you possibly can with them. And their guys' and their story and their success that they've had in real estate is a testament to that strategy right there. Is enjoy this episode when they go in and they talk about kind of how they found a mentor, how much time they spent with them, and then also how they turned around and did the same thing as they partnered with other people and just shared their wealth of information. So great couple, great story, a great business model, and a great opportunity for you guys.
Enjoy the episode.
Take care. Shawn and Joni, thank you so much for joining us today. Anthony and I have been very excited about having you guys on as guests. If you guys wouldn't mind getting us started off by telling us a little bit about your story, because I know you guys have several companies. So can you tell us how you guys got started in this industry to even begin with?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll get started.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we started 20 years ago, so we've been at this an extremely long time. Joni and I are high school sweethearts, so we have been together since we were 15 years old. And
congratulations!
I'm still 15. Just kidding. I'm just joking.
Yeah, but we grew up. We grew up together. We grew up in business together. We have been together longer than we've been apart. So I would like to think we know everything about each other. But
yes.
And we can get into that too about working together, because I know that's a lot of the challenge and the question for a lot of couples. So, but I had seen a late night infomercial. I forgot which one it was back then. And I had a little bit of money that my parents had set aside for me to go to college. And since I got a scholarship to go to college, I ended up spending all that money on boot camp, seminars, mentorship program. And Joni and I had an interesting college life. Mm-hmm. We planned it so we would take classes in the morning, and then in the afternoon we would go and visit our job sites, go knock on doors to buy houses. And we flipped houses all throughout college. And when we graduated, we went full time. So I originally went for a degree in mechanical engineering, and my senior year I changed to entrepreneurial studies. So I'm actually practicing what my degree's in. So, but I just couldn't see myself as an engineer the rest of my life. And Joni and I had already, started a pretty successful real estate flipping business at that time. And so we just dove head first. And, in 2005, we had a partner here in Houston that we were doing a lot of flips with, and him and I set up, or Joni and I and him set up a training infomercial flipping coaching program where we'd have people, and it was all pre-foreclosure investing. So we'd have people come to Houston, we'd train them for 3 days on how to buy pre-foreclosure homes. We'd take van loads of people and go door knocking and, actually go to live doors of people in foreclosure. And then we would send them home and sell them on a 10-deal joint venture program. And so we had partnerships across the country, flipping homes with clients and partnerships. And we did that till about 2011, 12.
Right. Yeah, we would. I mean, we had no kids at the time, so we would fly to the city, Atlanta, Louisiana, and work with our partners there and actually physically knock on doors with them. And we would even take our crews from Houston down to whatever city we were working in, and they would help fix up the houses, and they would live in the houses while they were fixing them up, and we would knock them out really quick and come back to Houston. So
I mean, for the first 10 years, it was much like the TV shows. We bought homes, fixed them up. Joni was a broker in a couple states, and then we'd sell them on MLS to retail homeowners at that time. But in 2010, after the nationwide, they started to see a big decline in housing prices, and Texas started to feel it, and so our flips in Texas started to take a little bit longer to sell. So we decided to pivot. We were approached by a lot of investors saying, "Hey, I've seen the rental portfolio you guys have built, and it intrigues us. We want to get into it, but we definitely don't want to find homes, rehab them, manage them." And so in 2010, we pivoted and started selling everything as a turnkey. And how we define turnkey is we will buy the home, fix it up, put a tenant in place, and then we'll professionally manage it for you after you close on it and purchase it. So it's a complete turnkey, complete process done for you. So you don't have to find it, you don't have to rehab it, you don't have to worry about finding a tenant, and then you don't have to manage it after you close on it and purchase it. We'll manage it for you. So we started that in 2010 and started our management company with just our houses.
And we didn't at the time, we thought, is this going to actually work? What happens if it doesn't?
We're putting
worst case scenario, we can just keep it as a rental and keep it for our own portfolio. So we're like, well, can't really lose.
That's probably the only regret we have from 2010 to 2012 was when we were still, we were putting all these tenants in these homes and getting all these rentals, because we would actually buy them and close on them with our own money and our own finances, and then put them up for sale. Was we wish we would have bought hundreds at that time, because the only regret today, all our clients from 2010 to 2015 now today, all their properties have doubled or tripled in value. So it's like we just wish we would have done hundreds. And that time we were buying homes for 30, 40 grand, spending 20, 25,000 on rehab and selling them for 20,000 more.
Well, even ones that we couldn't sell ourselves, we're like, well, we can't retail this, so let's just hold it ourselves for, rental. And we just sold one recently, and it tripled in value. So.
And that was a property that we were in over what it was worth at the time in 2005. And we just held it for 12 years and it just appreciated. We paid down our debts. And did really well for us. But
it paid off.
And then, so the last 10 years, that's all we've done is sell turnkey. We've done over 1,600 homes that we sold to turnkey clients. We, right now, we're managing just over 1,450 homes in Albuquerque and Houston. We expanded to Albuquerque in 2015. And we also started new construction in 2015 as well. So we're also doing build to rent. And so the bulk of our business today is built to rent, and we do duplexes, single family, and manage houses. So we started a couple other companies this year during COVID that we can get into, but that's the meat of our business and the heart of it. So.
Awesome. I heard a lot of stuff in there that I took notes on that we'll jump back to. But you said 2015, you did two different things. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Is you said New Mexico, you moved into that market. And then also 2015, you started new build, right?
Correct.
Awesome. So 2015 was a big year for you.
Correct. And then actually 2015 and there's 2010 when we pivoted, 2015 when we started those two
initiatives, and then
this year.
And in 2020, you're on the Infinite Wealth podcast.
That's
Right,
right.
yeah,
That's
it's
it.
fantastic year.
Blow it up. I love it.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, so in 2015, where I was going with that question was, can you tell us the difference between the two markets that you guys are in now, Houston and also Albuquerque?
Yeah, I mean, we had the opportunity to buy a management company. That was the real. So Joni and I started our careers. We're born and raised in New Mexico, and so back in college when we went to the University of New Mexico, and so we had started our real estate careers in Albuquerque, and so we knew the market. And a management company went up for sale that we knew about, and so we bought it in 2015. That's how we got back into the market. And so it was a perfect fit. And we wanted another market that we could sell to our clients, and so they could diversify in a couple markets. And so it was a perfect fit for us.
And that was the biggest thing is we found that our clients didn't want to put all their eggs in, one basket in Houston. And so having another market really, helped.
Yeah, it opened up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and managing, I don't know if you guys have ever managed from afar, but a distance, that's a whole nother learning lesson. But and there's a lot nuggets that we can share there as well. So.
Yeah, please do. That's a great tee up. Is what are a couple of nuggets that you guys have learned from managing properties from afar?
Yeah, so definitely I would say, and Joni, you can answer yourself, but I would think having the right team.
Yeah, it all comes down to the team, really. Because I mean, Houston is actually our hub. So for the most part, we do a lot of things out of Houston. And so grateful for technology, like everything is, for the most part, on tech. We have Asana, our task management. Our management software, which is at Folio. Even to our camera system, we use company cam. So when the runners take photos, it automatically uploads on company cam. So with the technology and just having the right team in place, it really makes a difference. And with COVID and the pandemic, we have 15 virtual assistants. Which they were able to just step in and assist us in both markets. Right now, New Mexico's closed, so, there's we can still work, but still, for the most part, everything is closed. So it's really hard to get things done. We can't do inspections, those type of things. So, but what I'm getting at is our virtual assistants have been able to step up and take some of those roles and tasks.
So I think, managing from afar, it's technology and then the right staff, the right people. So, when we bought that company, we took on the staff that they had, but of course, we ended up having to replace, I think, all of them because it just wasn't the right fit and the right, but yeah, it's coming down to the right team. You got to have people that you can trust, people that, that
fit your culture.
Yeah. And then that you can hold accountable because you aren't there day to day. You're not, able to check on them, but if you can have KPIs and key performance metrics that you can hold them accountable to, then it helps managing that team from afar.
We also do team huddles in the morning. So at 9:38 every morning, our entire organization, from virtual assistants to our Albuquerque office and Houston office, all kind of huddle in the morning, and we go over, priorities for the day, stucks, good news. And so we all are kind of working together. So
and unified, and it helps create that camaraderie and it's fun. So we try to keep it as fun as we can, and I think everybody likes to see everybody in the morning, and it starts the day off on the right tone. So.
Now, what would you say some of the pros and cons of you having a turnkey provider, like from the perspective of the investor?
Yeah. Again, so the turnkey is somebody local to that market that has a lot of wealth and knowledge and has been doing it in that market for a long period of time. So, say you live in California and it just doesn't make sense to purchase real estate there, and you're looking in another market like Texas or New Mexico, you can do it on your own. And don't get me wrong, you can fly there, you can work with real estate agents, you can try to make offers, you can try to hire contractors and even probably manage it from afar, but it's going to be very difficult. And if you don't have the experience, and even if you were I wouldn't feel comfortable managing in a different market. I would have to have a team there or somebody to help me or support me. So that's really what you're looking for in a turnkey operation is a team a partnership. I think, like you mentioned before, that you can rely on and count on, that are going to be your eyes and ears within the market. They're going to know what's going on. They're going to know the trends. They're going to know, the laws. That's a big thing today is
Right.
the laws with evictions.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think having somebody local just is that experience and that partnership that you need there locally. But I mean, that's going to be the key to this. If you're looking into turnkey companies or product, you want to vet that company, ask for references, go visit them, and visit that market, and visit their operation, visit their team, see what they do, how they do it. I wouldn't go in blinded. And
Yeah, because there's tons of companies out there and you really need to vet them. That's number one. I mean, just like property management, not all are created equal. You really have to do your due diligence and make sure that that's the right fit for your client.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so if I were to fly in for the day, what would that look like? Do you guys have investors that do that regularly?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
And we
probably.
recommend that. I mean, I want our clients to come and visit us and meet the team and because this is a long-term relationship with the client. Not, it's not that they're going to buy the property and they're never going to see us again. Shawn and I work hand in hand together. Yes, he does the turnkey stuff and I do the property management, but we want the client to feel welcome and we want them to meet our team.
Yeah. So when once a week, we have somebody that comes in, sometimes small little groups, but it's about 4 to 5 hours. They fly in, we meet at the office. You get to meet the team and the staff. So you get to see the whole operation. You get to meet who they're going to be working with, kind of put faces to positions that they're going to be working with. The big thing in our property management company is we have customer service representatives that are assigned to each owner. So that's the main thing, is to get to meet that customer service representative that's going to be assigned to them, so they know who they're working with, who's their advocate within the management company. But they get to meet the whole thing. They get to see, a lot of times we ask them to join our huddle. So that morning huddle that we do, they get to join in that. We have a big conference room. We used to meet in Houston in a big conference room, but due to COVID, we're now still just meeting in everybody's individual office. But so we'll have the investor come in, join that huddle, put everybody on the big screen, and so they can meet everybody, get introduced. And then from there, we take them out. We visit job sites, we visit houses under construction, houses that are finished. They get to see a sense of the neighborhoods and get a really good feel for it. Just the quality of our product, the neighborhoods. And then it's just really good, like windshield time, I think is what they call it. Just like, time together that they get to ask me questions. They get to know who I am, because I'm usually the one that conducts those. So I think it's just good one-on-one time. So.
Okay, great. Now, as you'd mentioned earlier, Joni, there are a lot of turnkey providers. What makes you guys different?
I think that us working together and having the property management and the investment side of it together works really well. Where we've seen it fail is when, a turnkey provider kind of outsources the property management. Then you're kind of pointing fingers like, no, that was his fault. That was her fault, And so it just makes it easier. Like if there's an issue, I usually come to Shawn and his team and say, hey, look, this is what we're expecting, and we get it all on the right foot. We're here all working together.
Yeah, I think the property management is the most crucial part of this whole business. So, yeah. And I don't think a lot of turnkey providers, if they do property management, they do it because it's they have to, because that's part of the model, but they don't have a desire or love for property management. I don't know if anybody does, but
we're embracing it.
But I mean, really, truly, we got into selling turnkey to build a property management company. We actually really enjoy aspects of it, but we enjoy the challenges that come from it. We enjoy building a company, a brand. We enjoy the staff that we get to build with this. And so for us, we want to scale our property management company. We want to grow it. So we're very passionate, but in order for me to sell you a product or sell you a home and deliver on those expectations that I'm, showing on the pro forma or showing on the marketing sheet, I feel you have to manage it as well to meet those expectations. And so if there's anything wrong or anything happens, at least I'm still involved in the scenario where I can either make it right if something does go wrong, because we're not always perfect, but we can make it right. So.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys have in-house property management, and then I think I saw on there you guys have different kind of levels of property management. Is that correct?
Yes, we have 3 levels of property management. We have our standard property management, which is the day-to-day collections, maintenance, coordinating, all that good stuff. And then we have our premium plan, which includes eviction protection and tenant placement guarantee. So what that is, if we have to file an eviction on a tenant, we will cover the cost of the eviction, or the tenant placement guarantee. You know, if we, for some reason, that tenant moves out within the first 12 months, you know, they get a job transfer or whatever, we will replace that tenant for free, so the client doesn't have to repay that lease up fee. We did come out with our platinum plan this year with COVID, and that it actually gives the client 3 months of landlord default insurance. So if the tenant, you know, defaults, we will pay their payments up, or rent payments up to 3 months. So again, it's different levels depending on the investor and what their comfort level is, and you know, I think you said it, a lot of our investors are first-time investors. They don't know what to expect. So to have that extra coverage just in case, you know, is crucial to them.
What I just heard you say is probably a great scenario for first-time investors, because those different levels is really you guys assuming more of the risk. Would that be accurate?
Exactly. Yes. And that just proves, you know, our screening process as well. You know, we're not just going to throw anybody in there because I have to guarantee this.
Perfect. Now, this is a unique time with COVID, and particularly some states in the federal had where they weren't allowed evictions. So how have you guys seen our tenants paying the rent, and how have things gone if they don't?
Yeah, so good question on that. So for the most part, all of COVID, we had been running about a 97 to 98% collection ratio. So it's pretty good. We were noticing that tenants wanted to do the right thing. You know, yes, we did have a few tenants that were, you know, trying to take advantage of the situation. And with those ones, we weren't just sitting around. Shawn and I have had years experience of knocking on doors. And so that's basically what I've done is I've actually negotiated with tenants. Hey, look, at the end of the day, you're going to get evicted. You know, let's go ahead and do a cash for key situation. You know, get some money out of it. And then for us and for our investors, they get the property back quickly. Yes, I mean, it's not ideal for anybody, but I mean, would you rather have 5 or 6 months of loss of rental income, or would you rather have, you know, 1 to 2 months?
Okay. Now,
so we've been proactive.
Yeah, I like it.
With you guys being in 2 different markets, what's the advantages, or what makes New Mexico so different than Texas?
Well, New Mexico is more of a tenant friendly, you know, versus Texas is more landlord friendly. So the only difference that we were seeing with evictions, like in New Mexico, is that we would go to, you know, eviction court, and they would grant us a judgment, but then we couldn't get a writ of possession, meaning like we couldn't get the tenants out. You know, and so until the eviction moratorium, you know, is lifted, our hands are kind of held tight. So that's the only difference. But even with that, we've been proactive, and we've been working directly with the residents, you know, to get them out if that's the case.
I think the biggest surprise with COVID, I mean, number one was we expected much higher delinquency rates than what we experienced. But the other big positive was the demand for rentals or housing just went through the roof. So you know, this past 6 months, we've had our lowest vacancy rates, I think, than we ever have in the history of managing property. And so even in Houston, where we manage about 1,000 doors, we had 18 homes available for lease, which is unheard of in our company. So it just, that was the biggest change or in a positive.
And another thing too is we thought that we were going to have more residents maybe buying properties, you know, with the interest rate so low. We thought we'd have a surge there, and we didn't. We had tenants that, you know, had our renewal rates were the highest it has ever been.
we have this big old make-ready department, and we have like 2 move-outs in this month in
It's
Albuquerque.
crazy. I've never seen it like this before. I mean, normally we have, in Houston, at least 30 move-outs, and it was like less than 10.
Yeah.
And in Albuquerque, it was, a couple. So
Now in Albuquerque or in New Mexico, you'd mentioned it's tenant friendly, particularly during COVID. But once we get, how is it, or was it before COVID, or how difficult was it to evict somebody?
It's still pretty similar. I mean, start to finish, like in New Mexico, if I needed to get somebody out within 30 days. And in Texas, it's probably, 3 weeks.
Okay.
So can you guys tell me a little bit about the inventory? Maybe the difference in the 2 markets, kind of the price points, and what kind of expected rate of return might be for someone?
I'll tell you, I am looking forward to hearing the answer to that question, but fortunately, you're going to have to wait to part 2. We had such a good interview. This first one, we talked more about their story. Mm-hmm. The second part, we start going more into the numbers and kind of some of the more of the exciting stuff. So for that, you're going to have to wait to part 2, which should go live in 2 weeks. Go make it a fantastic day.
Take care.